Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Salt Lake City Snowhawks expansion franchise, and welcome to the divisional round of the 2028 NFL playoffs. We're here hosting the Los Angeles Rams, the 5th seed, as they secured the top wildcard spot, despite a 13-4 record, which did match us, but we held the tiebreaker, so it was our Salt Lake City Snowhawks who would end up with the first seed for the first time in franchise history. Now here into the second round, we had a nice bye week, a much needed and much deserved week off, but now here refreshed and ready to take on the Los Angeles Rams. We swept them during the regular season back in week 4. It was a 20-14 victory, and then 10 weeks later in week 14, we beat them 19-9, so very low scoring games during this past regular season, which often is the case. It's usually a defensive slugfest. They boast one of the best defensive fronts in the entire NFL, with Kobe Turner, last year's NFL Defensive Player of the Year in Jared Verse, and also Braden Fiske, who ended this past season as the second leading sack leader in the NFL. The quarterback for the Rams is fourth-year man Will Evans, third-round pick out of North Carolina. That same year he was drafted, they signed Bryce Young in free agency to a massive 4-year contract, but kind of like Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn back in the day, if you're familiar with that, back with the Seahawks, it was Evans who would earn the starting job, and he has not looked back, coming off a career season where I believe it was 40 touchdown passes to just 7 interceptions, and completed 70% for the first time. His first drop back here, going deep down the field, and that's Puka Nacua as he hovers over a man, spins off a tackle, and an exclamation point out of the gate. That one for 35 yards. And the Rams do like to attack the intermediate to deep phases of the field, and they prove that here early on. Evans, just a tremendous pocket passer. He has the mobility as well, and a mismatch there. Torrance couldn't even bring him down, but originally that was the rookie Dakota Michaels in coverage against Nacua. That advantage is usually going to go to Nacua, as he's now working out of the slot. The Rams are ready to Snowhawks' 37-yard line. They give now for Kyron Williams, a top 10 rusher from this past season. He breaks into the second level, 11 yards. The Rams are already now down to the 26-yard line, as there's the defensive rookie of the year, Taylor Goddard, getting into it with Williams. Goddard finished a half sack short of the rookie record for sacks in the season, finished with 14. And now over the middle, there's the tight end, Ben Murray, former first-round pick out of Utah. He has really come along as a very good weapon here for Will Evans. Already up to superstar development, one of the best young tight ends in the game. And the Rams, not even a couple minutes into this one, already in the red zone, now going for Williams up the middle as he barrels over Jerry Sexton, gets 5. Tremendously fast pace here to start, cannot even catch my breath. 2nd and 5 at the 9 for the Rams, going quarterback draw. And I said Evans does have some mobility, and he gets a yard there, tackled by Sexton. 3rd and 4 at the 7 if our Snowhawks can stall this drive out. A big win to open the game as Evans goes to the sideline. Ben Murray not even looking, as he probably would have had the first down there, but that goes incomplete, so instead probably going to bring on the field goal unit for a chip shot. This one from the right hash at the 7-yard line, a 24-yard attempt for Cade York, former LSU Tiger. This one for the lead up, and that one is good. A tremendous drive there from the Los Angeles Rams to set the tone here on the road. It was a 35-yard pass there for Puka Nacua, and Kyron Williams a few good runs, and just like that, the Rams a field goal not even 3 minutes into this divisional round matchup. Both of these teams atop the NFC at 13-4, but playing in the same division, we were able to sneak in with that top seed, the rookie Dre Patton, on the return. And we're going to take over at the 31-yard line. Lucas McDonald, he was in the MVP conversation much of the way, but kind of cooled down towards the end of the season, but still, led the Snowhawks to the top seed. 40 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, over 4,600 passing yards, and also was our second leading rusher, as he can make an impact with his legs. And now that Los Angeles Rams defensive front just so tough, and they have had our number over the course of this franchise, despite winning both matchups this season. A nice check down there out of the gate for Tank Bigsby. He gets 8. Already some good chippiness on both sides. Definitely has that playoff atmosphere. And if you couldn't guess, we're also division rivals here. 2nd and 2. McDonald on the drop back. Second read there for Mark Andrews, as he has a nice lane there past the 50, and he'll get down to the 45. Tough running after the catch. Bigsby and Andrews, the top 2 contributors here on this drive, and both were very good for us during last year's playoff run. Andrews again there in motion. Back the other way. And they do send pressure. McDonald rolling to the right, and that one out of the reach. I think Marvin Harrison Jr., the intended target. The Rams are without superstar corner Kenny Widmer. He was a first-round pick back in our year 1 offseason. That was the 2024 draft. He's now up to an 88 overall, I believe. Now we get a pass there for Carlos Alvarez, breaking a couple tackles down the sideline, and that's 23 yards. Carlos Alvarez led the entire NFL in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns with 17, but he finished 3 catches short of a triple crown. The leader in catches was Travis Weldon, tight end from the Ravens, and we see there just a little dump off towards the sideline, breaks an arm tackle, broke another tackle up the sideline, and Carlos Alvarez, look at that power there, get off me. And the Salt Lake City Snowhawks are all the way down to the Rams' 22-yard line now. Alvarez, just his second year out of Florida State, already establishing himself as a top 10 receiver in the league, if not top 5. And now a give here for Bigsby, and so worked that all the way down to the 10-yard line, the 12-yard gain. Now at the 10-yard line are the Snowhawks, a very good answering drive to open this game. McDonald in the pocket, calm as he cannot avoid the collapsing pocket there. And that's Davis, one of the 3 players. You know, the Rams had the 3 players we mentioned, Turner, Verse, and Fiske. They combined for 56.5 sacks, which accounted for about 80% of the team total. But it's Davis there who gets the first one for the Rams in this game. 2nd and goal now at the 15. McDonald from the shotgun takes a snap, going to the sideline for Carlos Alvarez, hoping he can just, break a few more tackles, but contain a little bit better on that one. 3rd and goal at the 11, and the Salt Lake City Snowhawks are without backup tight end here, Darnell Washington, a very big body target here in the red zone goal line situation. Now from the pocket, McDonald for the end zone. It finds Cortez Bibbs, the player replacing Washington. So right on cue, Cortez Bibbs, his first ever career touchdown. And what a time for that. The opening drive for the Snowhawks ends in a touchdown as we take the lead. McDonald did take a hit there from Braden Fiske, but Fiske a little bit too late. Cortez Bibbs wide open there towards the corner of the end zone. The secret weapon, the former 5th-round pick out of Penn State, part of our inaugural draft class going back to that year 1 offseason. Extra point up and good from Will Reichert. So our offense, an 8-play, 69-yard drive. Tremendous way to answer and get the momentum back. And Will Evans and the offense back out there, this time trailing though. They had a couple big hits that first time, but ultimately the Snowhawks able to just limit them to a field goal attempt. Will Evans, the former 3rd-round pick out of North Carolina. So fake it there for Williams here on 1st down. Some pressure, but going down the field again for Nacua. And he hangs on through some tough contact there, splitting the defenders in the air. It was 35 yards. The first took up that one for 25. And now Nacua already at 50 receiving yards as Matthew Torrance was there. Also Gilmore a little bit late between the 2 safeties. Nacua, just tremendous job attacking the ball using that big body. And he never drops it. As now already at the 50-yard line, smack dab here at the left hash. Rams are already a few big hits through the air. That's something we're going to have to fix. Evans down near sideline as he was just going for Nacua. That hits the back of the rookie Dakota Michaels. We had Taylor Goddard, who we mentioned, ended up with 14 sacks, 1st-round pick out of Tennessee. Drafted him 21st overall, and Dakota Michaels at 31 overall. Now setting up a screen, and that's Dakota Michaels crashing that one right on cue. The 31st overall pick, as we said, out of Texas Tech. A natural safety, but he has been manning the slot for us, and he's thrived. Finished towards the top of the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation, but Goddard's 14-sack season, too much to combat that. But Michaels, look at that again, shot out of a cannon, and that is back-to-back plays, and that's back-to-back TFLs for the rookie, as he's now getting the best of Puka Nacua, and the Rams going to have to punt after a lot of momentum there to open that drive. That one, not the best, looked like kind of a shank, although that will end up in a 30-yard net. And we'll watch one more drive here, then we'll sim a drive aside and work towards the end of the first half. McDonald orchestrated a great opening drive for our Snowhawks, and let's add on here. Tank Bigsby broke off a few good runs. Mark Andrews had a nice hit through the air, as well as Carlos Alvarez. And of course that finish for Cortez Bibbs with the opening carry here for Bigsby, only 1 yard. Now 2nd and 9 at the 25, again going for Bigsby. And as he shuffles through a lane, but brought down for a loss that time, going to be 3rd and 10. That was Cameron Kitchens making the stop going downhill. 3rd and 10 at the 25. There goes Bibbs in motion, going towards the top of the screen. McDonald takes the snap, just trying a quick one over the middle, back for Bibbs, but that's knocked down at the line. So the Salt Lake City Snowhawks go 3 and out, and we cannot carry that momentum from that opening drive. And now here's Logan Cook, the veteran punter. And let's see if he can boot this one a far ways from his own 25, and that's going to be fair caught at the 27. So A 48-yard net there as Will Evans and the offense back out there. Hopefully our defense can follow suit of what they did last time. As like I said, we'll take to the normal sim now. 4 yards for Williams. 6 yards there through the air for Williams. So make it a 3rd and 1 situation. And the Rams do get the conversion on the ground. So all 3 touches so far for Kyron Williams. A penalty against the defense. Make it 1st and 5. And they go incomplete 2nd and 5. And they get 17 yards for Nacua. Now already up to 67 receiving yards here in the first quarter. Down to the 39. A penalty against Caleb Patton. So call that roughing the passer. And that accelerates the Rams now all the way up to the 24-yard line. They get another 16 for Nacua, and I've lost count, but I know he has 4 catches already nearing 100. Incomplete 2nd and goal at the 8. And they get an 8-yard touchdown for the tight end, Ben Murray. And the Rams retake the lead. They get a touchdown drive of their own here in the final seconds of this first quarter. And now we do get the ball back. Last play here of the first quarter. We get 11 yards for Mark Andrews. And now we started here in the second. So we had a big hit there at the 41, and then we get 21 yards for Marvin Harrison Jr., but sometimes during the quarters, we miss a play. So we had something happen that we missed out on, but another one there for Marvin Harrison Jr. Down to the 27, and then we get a 27-yard touchdown for Carlos Alvarez. And contrary to what I said at the top, this is all offense so far. We'll just go ahead again and sim a drive aside. Salt Lake City back with the lead, now up 14-10. The Rams get 13 yards for Ben Murray, already his 3rd catch. Of course, that last one was a touchdown. And now 3rd and inches at the 48-yard line. And they get 7 yards for Kyron Williams now into Salt Lake City territory. 2nd and 6 at the 36. And 19 yards for Puka Nacua. My goodness, he might break a career high in this one at this pace. 7 yards for Rashid Shaheed, his first catch. Make it 2nd and 3 at the 10. They go incomplete, make it 3rd and 3. And they get the first down. 6 yards for Nacua. And 1st and goal at the 4, incomplete 2nd and goal now. And they get a 2-yard rush from Evans. They split the difference. And now 3rd and goal at the 2. And they do get the touchdown there. 2-yard touchdown for Morris Allen. And again, the Rams back on top with 8:34 remaining in this first half. And just to follow suit, we'll sim one more drive here and then finish out the remainder of this first half. So we go incomplete there on 1st down. Starting at the 30, we get 14 yards for Mark Andrews. 15 yards for Mark Andrews, so 29 on 2 plays. Make it 2nd and 9 now. And we get 13 yards for Alvarez, another big catch for him. And then we get 27 yards for Carlos Alvarez, his 2nd touchdown, as Alvarez and Puka Nacua going tit for tat here. 2 of the top receivers in the NFL both finished top 5 in receiving yards in each of the past 2 seasons since Alvarez was drafted in the 1st round out of Florida State. So what a game so far. Our offense, 3 touchdown drives, all by way of the pass. And we'll simulate the rest of this second quarter. 21-17 here, 6:31 left. What a game here from Snowhawks Stadium so far between the top 2 teams in the NFC despite the seeding, as we each finished at 13-4. Decent return there for the Rams, taking over at the 28-yard line. And Will Evans has been good hooking up with Nacua, but it was Morris Allen, his first target, hauled that in for a 2-yard touchdown. And total yardage is 210 to 209, advantage LA. Starting here at the 28 from the empty set, and he's hitting fumbles, and it's picked up by Dakota Michaels. Who else? And the Salt Lake City Snowhawks forced a turnover, and we pick up in prime real estate. And there's Jerry Sexton picking up Dakota Michaels as he makes yet another big play. He's proven to be a huge difference maker as this season's gone on, but it was Jonathan Grenard there to meet Will Evans there from the blind side. Evans did not see that pressure coming, and for the first sack of the day for our defense, amounts in a forced fumble scooped up by Dakota Michaels. And there goes Lucas McDonald trotting back out onto the field, trying to get another passing touchdown. Let's make it 4 here in the first half. Here at the 28-yard line, McDonald out of the shotgun, Bigsby to his left. McDonald going to the sideline for Carlos Alvarez. Who else? And he tried to turn the corner up the sideline, but ran out of real estate. He does get 5, though, making it 2nd and 5. Now less than 6 minutes left in this first half. A lot of scoring here. I think already more scoring in this first half combined than what we had in the other previous 2 games. At least in the last one, it was only 19-9 at the end, so we've already had more points than that Week 14 matchup. After that incompletion, now 3rd and 5 at the 24. McDonald going to fling that, and that's knocked down, trying to get Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think that's, Asante Sample, as he knocks that down. Going to be a 41-yard field goal attempt now from Will Reichert here from the right hash. This to make it a 7-point lead for Salt Lake City. Reichert has been very good, especially in the second half of the season. I don't think he's missed a kick since like week 8 or week 7, maybe even before that. And every miss during the season was from beyond 50 yards. So if it's 50 and under, he's automatic. And now here on the ensuing return for the Rams after that turnover, as Will Evans will look to keep ball security this time. But look at Nacua, 8 catches, 114 yards already. And I think it's safe to say he's probably going over 200 in this game. As now 214 total yards to 207 advantage for the Snowhawks. 5:41 left in this second quarter. Off the fake, Evans will go near sideline, and a great play there from Matthew Torrance. The intended target there, I think, was Rashid Shaheed, as Torrance able to knock that one free, force the incompletion, and now make it second down. Man in motion. I believe that is Shaheed to the bottom of the screen. Evans has a man there over the middle, and despite a big hit from Quay Walker, able to hang on, gets 5 yards, and now make it 3rd and 5. Rams here at the 33-yard line trying to get an answer as they trail by 7, their biggest deficit so far. And Salt Lake City did send the blitz, and Nacua was open over the middle of the field, but Evans just missed him, and the Snowhawks were just a step or two late getting the sack that time, but the pressure did force Evans out of rhythm and forced him to hurry that one out, and he goes incomplete. So again, a punt here for the Rams as they boot it from their own 33-yard line. There's Nathan Scruggs, the star corner. We don't really see him on punt returns too often, but he does have a special ability, so we figure here in the postseason we'll give him a couple chances. And now the Snowhawks trying to build onto this 7-point lead. Just continue to get that momentum going into halftime. McDonald from the pocket over the middle for Marvin Harrison Jr. as he hauls that in for 6. Now directly under center, Bigsby is the lone back as they do fake it to him. McDonald going to step up and try to avoid the rush there of Braden Fiske, but you're not often going to escape him as he adds another sack to his campaign. Might be the defensive player of the year. We'll see how that goes, maybe at least in the NFC, because it was Myles Garrett who led the league in sacks. Now 3rd and 8, backed up a little bit after the sack from the pocket, and that's Jared Verse, last year's defensive player of the year, meeting Braden Fiske. The two combined for a ton of sacks. I can't even do the math, but I know between them three, including Kobe Turner, they combined for 56.5, breaking the record of 3 teammates combined sack total for a single season. So we knew that they were going to start disrupting us at some point. It was only a matter of time, and they get home for another sack there on back-to-back plays. And I think that's now 3 surrendered by the Snowhawks in this first half. Logan Cook now back out there as we hit the 3-minute mark in this first half of play in the divisional round of the 2028 NFL playoffs, as Will Evans another chance here, trailing by 7, as he'll try to orchestrate a little 2-minute drill here, get the Rams some more points heading into halftime, hopefully tying it up for his sake, but of course our defense hoping to hang strong here. Some big impact plays early on. Grenard a sack. Dakota Michaels picked up that fumble, and he's had a few TFLs as well. Evans now from the pocket going near sideline, and he has a man wide open. That's Kyron Williams out of the backfield as he takes that all the way down to the 27-yard line. With my quick math, I want to say that was 34 yards and a huge impact play there. That was kind of what they were getting at will opening the game, but our defense has hung strong there. Even Dakota Michaels there on the blitz, but Jerry Sexton just missed that assignment. I want to say there's probably man coverage there on Williams and just did not recognize him breaking free up the sideline. Now out there empty is Evans. Again, we'll find a man there that won a short one for 3. That did take us to the 2-minute warning, so no more game-imposed stoppages at this point. Evans, a clean pocket, time to throw, now being chased. We'll try and tuck it and run to the outside, being chased by Taylor Goddard, and that's the rookie, as he'll track him down. A 5-yard loss on this sack, his first career postseason sack. He had 14 in the regular season, proved to be a tremendous draft pick there at 21 overall, traded up a little bit with the Green Bay Packers, and he more than proved to be worth that. 3rd and 12 now. Evans again from the clean pocket over the middle, and he had a man that's dropped. I think that was Nathan Scruggs draped in man coverage. Evans did hit his man in the hands. That was Rashid Shaheed, but he could not hang on, so that'll bring on a 46-yard field goal attempt here from the right hash for Cade York. 1:18 left in the half. Kick is up, and that one down the middle is good. So a 24-20 lead now for the Snowhawks, and we have plenty of time, all our timeouts, to add on some insurance here going into halftime. Offense takes over at the 27 with 70 seconds remaining. All their timeouts to work with. Good chip block there at the right tackle spot from Ike Makonwu as he neutralized Jared Verse, and we get that out for Vince Willis' 4-yard gain. Luckily, Willis was able to get out of bounds to stop the clock. And now 64 seconds left. McDonald, a deep drop back here. Rolling to the right, maneuvering, going up the field as he does get the first down. Was hoping he would break it more outside up the sideline, but we'll take what happened. Definitely better than taking another sack. Oftentimes, especially against this team, this defensive front of the Rams, when we see McDonald make that split-second decision to tuck it and run, he often just meets, Kobe Turner or Jared Verse. And that time behind Marvin Harrison Jr. incomplete. Less than a minute now left. McDonald takes the snap. Pocket was collapsing there from the edges, but we'll check that down from Marvin Harrison Jr. That goes for a good gain, give him 17. And now hurrying up to the line, making an adjustment here on the play call, although the time does continue to tick. 2 timeouts left, and now Andrews in motion as more time will go off the clock here. Just 20 seconds left now. McDonald will just check that over for Tank Bigsby, make the man miss, but he cannot, and all that for naught. No gain on the play. Now 16 seconds remain, probably need like 5 yards, I would say, to get in Reichert field goal range. Maybe a little bit more, and we will get a little bit more. Mark Andrews spins off a tackle, still going, as he'll be eventually brought down at the 20-yard line, and we got to call a timeout, get the field goal out there, and we finally do. I definitely get worried in these situations, these late game situations with the AI. They're not always the best at calling the timeouts when they need to, but here we do get the call. Will Reichert now from the left hash from 37. A great catch and run that time from Mark Andrews. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Will Reichert up, and that one good. So the Snowhawks restore that 7-point lead into halftime, 27-20, as we already have our highest scoring game of the season between the Rams and Snowhawks, and we still have another half of football yet to play. So here for the halftime report. Every other matchup here in the divisional round has been settled, so we're going to get our AFC Championship preview and also see our opponent in the NFC Championship between the Vikings and Eagles, or at least I thought we would, but right now only showing the bracket. I thought our game was last on the schedule, so I thought we were going to get to see the scores of the other matchups, but we just get that bracket between the Eagles and Vikings. So that is going to be our matchup in the NFC Championship if we are able to carry this into the final result, as we do lead 27-20, taking over here with the ball to start the second half. And Tank Bigsby, we haven't been too ground-centric in this game, despite that being our game plan. We definitely went, I think, interior runner, inside running in this week's focus on our training, but we have taken more of a passing attack approach, which I'm not mad about because it has certainly worked to this point. But as we hold this lead and try to bleed this clock, hopefully we start feeding Tank Bigsby a little bit more. McDonald will throw it here first. Drop back of the half as he gets Marvin Harrison Jr. for 7. I know in the AFC it was Houston, Baltimore, and also Kansas City, Buffalo. So we'll see how that goes after this game as Dontavion Wicks catches that over the middle, 7 yards and the first down. If Minnesota does upset Philadelphia, though, that would be quite the big upset, I think, because we projected Minnesota as the last place team in the NFC North, and they ended up winning it and have now won a playoff game to boot. Mark Andrews, another big catch there as he's just staying very well balanced after the catch, staying on his feet and working forward for extra yardage. Now 2nd and 3. Another fake there for Bigsby as McDonald going deep down the field, and that's hauled in by Carlos Alvarez, another huge one. That one all the way down to the 24-yard line of the Rams. And now over 300 passing yards is Lucas McDonald as Alvarez does a little dance, and he has definitely the right to do that after his insane season, as he hauled in, I believe, over 1,500 receiving yards with 17 touchdowns, over 100 catches, and as we said, finished just 3 catches short of winning a receiving triple crown. Good opening drive here now from Salt Lake City, as we got another big hit in the passing game. Here at the 24, we go for Bigsby. Good blocking, and still work ahead for 10, the first down, actually make it 13, as he doubled his total entering that carry. He had 3 for 13, and now make it 4 for 26. And like I said, I think we're going to start feeding him a little bit more, especially if we can double this 7-point lead. There goes Mark Andrews in motion. McDonald takes the snap, rolling to the right, as he will get rid of that. Takes a big hit, though. 2nd down. Again for Bigsby. Finds another lane. Tank Bigsby. And so bumble into the end zone there. I thought he might have been stopped short, but he had different plans. And we do double that lead now. Tank Bigsby building off of what was a phenomenal postseason last year. And I even mentioned it in the last episode. He just really got stronger as this season went on. Struggled as he assumed that full-time running back role, as his 4.3 yards per carry from last season dwindled all the way down to 3.3 for a difference of 1. But hopefully he can pick it up here in the postseason. A great start here. 7-play, 75-yard drive. We don't kill as much time as we would have liked, but we'll take a touchdown, no matter how much time it takes. 34-20 now, and we'll watch this Rams opening drive of the second half and then probably simulate a good bit of this third quarter. Need to start out with good field position here, as that will not be the case. Good coverage from our kickoff team, as Will Evans all the way back at his own 22-yard line, and it's starting to slip now. Salt Lake City with 335 total yards, almost more than 100 of the Rams' current total. First down here, Evans will go down the field, and that's almost caught by Nacua, maybe a little bit behind him. I'm not sure how he missed that one. And Jerry Sexton matched up against Nacua, not what you want, despite Sexton's 90 speed at linebacker. And now Evans again will swing that out for Kyron Williams, and Quay Walker was right there undercutting that, but a little bit behind Williams as he got outbodied for the ball. But luckily for LA, it just goes incomplete now. 3rd and 10. And we're trying to make the Rams go 3 and out to start this half. Evans now out there empty as Williams went to the top of the screen as he crosses over the middle. But Evans, plenty of time to throw in the pocket, goes down for Puka Nacua, who's wide open in the soft spot. As that he goes for 25 that time. And like I said, he might get 200 in this game. That was a prime opportunity for our defense to force a 3 and out of the gate. But another good conversion from the Rams passing game now out in the I formation as they go for Kyron Williams. A nice lane opens up as they'll take that for 9. Back in the I formation here on 2nd and short. They will fake it and trying to dump that off for Williams. That hits a man at the line, goes incomplete. And let me know what you think about the uniforms. I really like the black on black here, especially against a divisional opponent, to kind of set that tone here in a playoff game. Evans on a drop back down 3rd and 1 finds Ben Murray, his trusty tight end, as that gets the first down to the 37. Fresh set for Evans, as Nacua is the motion man, being followed by Dakota Michaels. Evans will go for Nacua, as he'll get another first down, that one for 13. Now 10 catches for 152, and now just 48 yards short of reaching 200. I wonder what the Rams' single game receiving record is. Going to have to look that up after this game. I wish it just told you, kind of like NCAA used to do back in the day. And now Evans going for the end zone. That one over the head of Ben Murray, out of bounds. Second down here at the 24. Rashid in motion as they go screen here for Kyron Williams, and Sexton read that all the way. He responded well, got the tackle downhill, cut off the angle of Williams, limits that to just 1 yard, and it's now 3rd and 9. And you see Nacua at the bottom of the screen, that X factor lighting up. You don't like to see that. Evans out there empty. Williams again goes to the top of the screen. Evans backtracking in the pocket as he sets, and we'll just throw that one away. So a squandered opportunity here inside the Snowhawks 25-yard line, as they'll bring on Cade York for another field goal attempt, this one from 40 at the left hash. If they want to trade field goals for touchdowns the rest of the way, we're absolutely happy with that, as it's now a 34-23 lead for the Snowhawks. So 8-point touchdown, you get a touchdown, the 2-point conversion, and a field goal with the Rams, and you're all knotted up. But if you're the Snowhawks, of course, want to add on another touchdown, let's drop 40 against the Rams in this game. But going to have field position at the 26-yard line after Dak Kitchens was tackled there. And look at Alvarez going tit for tat with Puka Nacua. 7 for 128, 2 touchdowns. Both of those were pretty big ones, as we'll watch the Snowhawks offense again here and see what we can accomplish. 7:05 left in this third quarter. A give now for Bigsby up the middle. Plenty of running room as he breaks into the second level. Past it. Stiff arm, get off me. As he'll work past the 50. And that's exactly what we're talking about. 29 yards for Bigsby, getting stronger as we go on in year 5. Already into Rams territory now, trying to pour it on. Again over the middle. And again, that one knocked down at the line. And now McDonald will give here for Manny Reynolds, the rookie out of Cal, 6th round pick, his first postseason carry. He gets ahead for a few. Good run as Jared Verse there holding the stomach area, the groin, as he might be out. He does go to the locker room, so they are now without maybe their most potent pass rusher, but it does not matter on this play as we go to the run, and Kobe Turner there up for Defensive Player of the Year as well, along with his teammates Braden Fiskey and Jared Verse, but I think it's going to be Fiskey who gets it in the NFC this season. Just stood up there. Also, Omar Spates, I think that was closing in, as now we'll see what we like to do. So, not going to bring out Reichert for a 55-yard field goal. Instead, we'll bring out the offense here on 4th and 3. Big situation here for each side. McDonald again knocked down at the line. He had Alvarez open over the middle, but it's the Rams who forced a turnover on downs. And just like that, the momentum has definitely swung. They're only trailing by 11, a 2-possession game, and they have a chance here to slash it to a 1-possession game, and a field goal does do that. Evans and the offense here for the Rams at the 38-yard line. Evans on the drop back, and Jerry Sexton gets home on the blitz. Right down the middle. Evans was not expecting that. We haven't blitzed much, if at all, really, in this game. And a surprise that time. Will Evans was not suspecting it. And Jerry Sexton, the explosive linebacker, former defensive rookie of the year, he gets home for the sack. A give here for Kyren Williams, and he's body slammed by Kwity Paye. Tremendous play recognition there. Play recognition from Paye, we'll say, as Evans there and Williams just beat up on back-to-back plays. And they're now backed up 3rd and 22. Back to the 26-yard line. Evans now from the pocket going deep down the field, and that's out of the reach of Rashid Shaheed. He had a step or two there on Matthew Torrance, but it falls incomplete, and the Rams going to have to punt here as the Snowhawks regain some momentum with some big defensive plays. Body slam there from Kwity Paye, a sack from Jerry Sexton on the blitz, and now Salt Lake City back with it at the 33-yard line, and we're going to go back to the normal sim and kill some of this clock. 7 rushes for 64 yards, a touchdown for Tank Bigsby as he's starting to get going. 4:33 left in the third, starting at the 33-yard line. We get 6 yards for Cortez Bibbs, the opening touchdown for our Snowhawks, incomplete, so 3rd and 4, 3:41 left. We get the first down for Marvin Harrison Jr. down to the Rams' 41-yard line. On 2nd and 8, we get 10 yards for Andrews, moving the chains, knocked away on first down, so 2nd and 10, 5 yards for Andrews, make it 3rd and 5, and we go incomplete, so probably going to bring out Reichert here for a 41-yard field goal, as that one is good. So again, a 14-point lead for our Snowhawks here into the final minute of this third quarter. We'll see what the Rams can do. And they go backwards, a sack for Randy Fisher, the 2nd-round pick out of UCLA, making impact. The Rams did get a first down there after the quarter change, and that's Caleb Patton, his 3rd penalty now of the game, as the Rams are up to the 48-yard line now. 1st and 5, they go incomplete. Now on 2nd and 5, they get 11 yards for Williams down to the 41. A 7-yard rush from Nakua, getting him involved on the ground as well. Now 3rd and inches, and they get 19 yards for Kyren Williams all the way down to the 12-yard line, and also Jerry Sexton injured on the play. Not what we wanted to see here down the stretch. 6 yards for for Shaheed down to the 6, and then a 6-yard touchdown for Morris Allen as the Rams make it a game. I think that's only Allen's 2nd catch. Both have gone for touchdowns. And we'll sim this drive now. Another drive aside, and from there we'll finish it out. 2nd and 6. We get 12 yards from Marvin Harrison Jr. Now less than 10 minutes in this game. Incomplete on 1st down. 2 yards on 2nd down. 3rd and 8. And we go incomplete. So we're going to sim another drive from the Rams and then play it out as they're taking over at the 22-yard line. A chance to tie it up. 15 yards for Murray down to the 45-yard line. 10 yards for Ben Murray. 2nd and 1. They get 6 for Shaheed. And they are just driving down the throat of the Snowhawks defense. Now another penalty from Caleb Patton. 1st down for the Rams. They get 9 for Shaheed. And they might just tie it up here. 1st and goal at the 7. And they get a 7-yard touchdown for Nakua. Oh my goodness. And just like that, we're all knotted up here, folks. We have squandered a 14-point lead. And we're all tied up here in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. I cannot believe it. I mean, I kind of can. We did blow a 17-0 lead in the Super Bowl, and now living up to the name here. 37 all. Return there for Dak Kitchens does work it past the 30, and 5:38 left for Salt Lake City, and we are desperate to get this lead back. We cannot, live up to that mantra of collapsing in big spots. We're outgaining them 457, I think it said, to 440, so the Rams have certainly found their form here in this second half. The pressure is definitely on now for Lucas McDonald. First pass attempt here as he does hook up with Marvin Harrison Jr. and that one down to the 46-yard line. That's definitely how you like to open the drive. Now we're stacking the line. Also the fullback out there. And we get for Tank Bigsby. And a decent gain gets 2. In the I formation now. And we do fake it for Bigsby this time. We'll swing it out to the sideline for him. And again, that doesn't really get much, as that makes it 3rd and 7. And only 2 third down conversions in this game for Salt Lake City, but I guess we haven't had many third down situations. As now McDonald here, crucial spot. He'll try and run as he has some space to work with, and he does get the first down, and he's knocked out after a decent gain. He gets 7-8 yards, but more importantly, keeps this drive alive. We have not seen him move the ball with his legs too much in this game, mostly by way of his arm, and right there, the Rams, a great answer. Omar Speights shot out of a cannon, unblocked, and he gets the TFL there on the exchange, right off the exchange there with Tank Bigsby. Now backed up 2nd and 13, as we will call an audible. McDonald from the shotgun takes the snap, 4-man rush for the Rams. And I don't know about that decision, as he swings that out for Bigsby, makes the catch, but nothing doing. As it's now 3rd and 12. I don't like the look of this one, folks. 3rd and 12 here at the 44 into the final 4 minutes. And again, over the middle, it's knocked down at the line, and that is just awful here in Madden. Just so many wasted passes that are knocked down at the line. I don't know what that animation is really, but Logan Cook now on for the punt, and now the Rams are going to get it with a chance to take the lead. A decent punt there from Logan Cook down to the 13-yard line, but even a field goal gives the Rams the lead here. 3:30 remaining, as they have stampeded back from a 14-point deficit not long ago. And the Snowhawks just on their heels right now. I kind of feel like our defense going to have to make a big play to bail us out of this one on the first pass there. And that's Dale Gilmore in coverage against Puka Nacua as he knocks that one down. I get so nervous every time Will Evans chucks it down the field. I just always expect it to be Puka Nacua bringing it down and making a play even after the catch. Evans now out there empty from the pocket. And so he'll try and work out of harm's way, but we'll run right into it. Taylor Goddard again going to meet him there for the sack. Now going to be 3rd and 15, backed up to the 8-yard line. I also think the veteran there, Jonathan Grenard, getting home off the edge as well. That's Grenard working against the rookie left tackle, Will Hall. First-round pick out of Boston College. Now Evans from his own end zone going to tuck it and run here on 3rd and 15. Up the sideline, and he is brought down just short of the line to gain. That is the veteran Michael Carter II. We signed him really just to be a mentor to our corners, and that time making a critical play. Oh my goodness. Look at the pursuit. Chase down. Will Evans stayed with it. If he hadn't, Evans would have moved the chains on the ground there off the scramble, but it's Michael Carter II, the veteran, making a heads-up play. 4th and inches, just devastating there for the Rams. Now punting from their own 23. A good one that time, as Scruggs will field it, breaks a tackle, and he'll be brought down at the 43-yard line. So 2:07 now. This looks to be in the Snowhawks' favor because we don't have much field to work with. If we can just kill some clock, force the Rams to burn their timeouts, get in the field goal range, we might be sitting pretty, but you never know with this team in crunch time, folks. McDonald now just going to fling that out of bounds. Now the last play prior to the 2-minute warning. Mark Andrews in motion again. 2 tight ends on the field for Salt Lake City. McDonald over the middle will check that down for Cortez Bibbs, and that will go for 7. So we do hit the 2-minute warning now from Snowhawk Stadium, as Bibbs, though, a little shaken up there. And they're always holding the wrist. No matter what the injury appears to be, they're always running into the locker room holding the wrist. As that'll set up 3rd and 3, so now we're down to Chauncey Washington as our tight end 2 right now. Former 7th-round pick out of Georgia. 3rd and short at the 50. McDonald will have a man there, and that's caught by Mark Andrews, as again he breaks the tackle all the way down to the 25-yard line, and that's a gain of 25. As Lucas McDonald, he is now over 400 passing yards. First down for the Snowhawks now at the 25. 1:25 left in this divisional round playoff game. Give there for Sean James, I believe that is. He didn't have many carries during the regular season, but gets one there, and he gets 1 yard. The Rams do burn their first timeout. 1:19 now on the clock. And there we do go for Tank Bigsby up the middle. Big hole opens up. Our run blocking has definitely paved the way in this one. Bigsby gets another 12. The Rams burn their second timeout. Just 1:15 now left on the clock. But yeah, no matter how good it seems to be, I never have full faith in our team to carry out these late game situations. As Bigsby, another tough run there, gets 6. The Rams burn their final timeout, making it 2nd and 4. Now at the 6-yard line. 1:11 left on the clock. Definitely don't want to leave any time or much for the Rams to work with. Another give there for Tank Bigsby. And at this point, I'm just hoping that our offense can get the field goal situation, call the timeout, and get us out of here with a win. So they're on another exchange. Tank Bigsby wrapped up by Davis again, as the final seconds are ticking down here. We'll record on for the game-winning field goal. The snap, the kick is up, and we just barely escape humiliation here. I mean, there's still 1 second on the clock, but you got to think that that's going to be enough to do it, unless the Rams can somehow put together a walk-off kick return touchdown. That would just be the most insane thing to happen in my gaming experience, although we won't even get that situation. And instead, it'll be a 70-yard heave for Will Evans. I honestly, in this situation, don't even feel 100% confident. Although they'll go for a short one. And that will do it here from Snowhawks Stadium as we take it 40-37 in a shootout. And another tremendous game here between Lucas McDonald and Will Evans, two former ACC quarterbacks, again building out what has been a budding rivalry during their time in the NFL and going back to their college days. The handshake there at the middle as our Snowhawks win another playoff game. We won 3 last year, as we're now, I think, 4-1 in postseason play all time. And we're going to be set for a matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles or the Minnesota Vikings. And if it is the Eagles, that would be a rematch of last year's NFC Championship. But we almost fell in this one. It got a little too interesting, a little too close for comfort down the stretch. But ultimately, our defense hung strong there when they needed to, and our offense got a couple big hits as well. Mark Andrews was huge in this game. Carlos Alvarez, of course, was huge in this game, and I see Will Evans finishes just short of 400 passing yards with 399, and he was bested by Lucas McDonald, who finished with 10 more at 409, and over 100 pass attempts combined between these quarterbacks. 3 touchdowns for McDonald, 4 for Will Evans, no interceptions, 67% for Evans, 68 for McDonald. Leading the way rushing was Bigsby, 15 for 83 and a score. I think he had a bunch of yardage after contact as well. Williams only 9 carries but got 46 yards, good for 5.1. Evans, maybe if on that scramble earlier when we stopped him on 4th and inches, what if he was able to move the chains there? That ending would have been probably much different. And now going over to receiving, Puka Nacua, 12 for 171, a touchdown. We could not contain him, but we got the win, so it doesn't matter. Mark Andrews, 9 for 127. His impact was definitely felt, especially after the catch. He was breaking a bunch of tackles and just rolling over everybody. His tight end counterpart, Ben Murray, 8 for 85, a touchdown. The young tight end, former first-round pick, is going to be one of the best. And Marvin Harrison Jr., over 100 yards for the first time in a while. He did that on 8 catches. Carlos Alvarez, 7 for 128, 2 touchdowns. It's not even surprising anymore when he makes an impact. Kyron Williams added 71 yards through the air. Morris Allen, he had 2 short touchdowns, good for 3 catches, 11 yards, 2 scores. Very efficient there. Cortez Bibbs got injured towards the end, 3 for 24, had that opening game touchdown to break the seal on things. 13 tackles for Omar Spates, matched by Jerry Sexton, as each middle linebacker led their teams. Sexton was injured in this game, hopefully nothing serious. A bunch of guys here with 2 TFLs, including Omar Spates, Braden Fiskey, Taylor Goddard, Jared Verse, Dakota Michaels. Those both came early. A sack and a half here for Fiskey, Goddard, Sexton, 1 for Grenard, Anton Davis, and a half sack for a few guys there. No interceptions in this game. 4 for 4 was Will Reichert, 3 for 3 was Cade York. So the quarterbacks were on, the kickers were on, the punters even had some good days as well. But that's going to do it here for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We'll see who awaits us here in the NFC Championship game, and it will be the Philadelphia Eagles, as we did sim ahead, and the Philadelphia Eagles do defeat the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, what a storybook season for them, though, just making it there into the divisional round of the playoffs, winning the division and winning a playoff game. And J.J. McCarthy, still the quarterback here, 2 touchdown passes for him, 238 passing yards. He was 23 for 28, so a very clean game under center. But Jalen Hurts does get the better of him in this one, completing 68%, a touchdown, 257, and rushing the rock. Zach Charbonnet, 11 for 56. Hurts actually led the Eagles in rushing with 46 yards, a touchdown. Saquon Barkley just 13 for 27, a touchdown, just 2.1 yards per clip. And hopefully we can see much of that in the NFC Championship game. Looking at receiving, Dallas Goedert led the Eagles 6 catches for 102, a touchdown. Devontae Smith, 4 for 55. Calvin Presley under him. And A.J. Brown was blanked in this game. He's going to be very happy about that. Now going over to defense for the Eagles. Cooper DeJean, 11 tackles. He had a sack against us earlier in the season, as we're going to get some revenge now in the NFC Championship game. A rematch of last year's NFC Championship game between the Snowhawks and Eagles. Of course, we took that one 27-20. And let's try and make that back-to-back NFC Championship wins now over the Eagles for a chance now at Super Bowl 63. And in the AFC, an upset here. The 6th-seeded Houston Texans just barely edge out the Baltimore Ravens 25-24. And we'll take a look at the stats here. Lamar Jackson, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions, or almost 250 passing there at 248. The Ravens did win the Super Bowl back in year 2, so he does have a ring at this point, but C.J. Stroud trying to get his first, as the Houston Texans are set for their first ever appearance in the AFC Championship game. He went crazy against the Colts in the first round, and now through 3 more touchdowns here in the second round. Their starting running back is Travis Gordon, 30-year man out of Auburn. He had 21 carries, but only 2.9 yards per rush. Lamar Jackson just 16 rushing yards and not much
else there on the ground for either side. Luke Day, their first-round pick from last year, he missed all of his rookie season, now a rookie here in his second year, and he caught 2 touchdown passes on 3 catches for 102 yards. Big day there for the former first-round pick out of Alabama. He was selected in the first round the same year as Carlos Alvarez. Rashad Bateman here for Baltimore. Zay Flowers each had 5 for 83, a touchdown. Identical stat lines there for the Ravens receivers. Tank Dell here looking for a Super Bowl ring for the first time, along with Dalton Schultz. Going over to defense here, Roquan Smith led the game with 11 tackles, 3 TFLs from Chris Mack, a third-year man out of Auburn. Also Manny Flanagan here for the Texans. No sacks in this game, 1 interception from Nate Wiggins. And the Houston Texans are going to take on Patrick Mahomes as the Chiefs took this one 38-21, a very convincing win to eliminate last year's Super Bowl champion. So we are not going to get a rematch in Super Bowl 63 against the Bills if we are able to make it there. And looking at the box score here, the Bills actually had the lead entering the fourth quarter, but 21 unanswered points by Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's just on brand for them. Patrick Mahomes, 248 passing, 4 touchdown passes. He did throw an interception, but completed 70%. And Josh Allen just 157 passing. He only threw the ball 22 times in this game, was pretty efficient, but they just must have went super conservative there in the fourth quarter en route to blowing this one. Isaiah Pacheco, the NFL's leading rusher, ended at 14 for 58. Josh Allen did have a rushing touchdown. Patrick Mahomes actually did as well. James Cook was 13 for 33. Buffalo could just not get him going on the ground. Rashee Rice, 3 touchdown catches, 8 for 117. He has been an absolute problem over the course of this franchise. Xavier Worthy, 5 for 60. Khalil Shakir did score 2 touchdowns, but he is not going to repeat as a Super Bowl champion. Quincy Richards, the rookie tight end, first-round pick out of Penn State, 3 for 23, but also did score a touchdown. Defensively, Jack Campbell, now of the Bills, led with 12 tackles, 1.5 sacks from Greg Rousseau, and 1 interception there from Jameson McCoy, former first-round pick out of Texas A&M for the Bills. So we're all set now for the championship matchups in each conference. We have the 1-2 seeds here in the NFC, the Eagles and the Snowhawks, as most did project this all season long. And then going over to the AFC, the Chiefs, as Patrick Mahomes now looking for his 5th Super Bowl ring, I believe at this point. He won it back in year 1 or year 3 with the Chiefs. Actually, I think it was year 2, and I think it was the Ravens back in year 1 when Lamar won it. So, and Mahomes has won 2 MVPs over the course of this franchise, along with an extra Super Bowl ring. So between MVPs and Super Bowls, he has 8, a few short of Tom Brady. He has 12 combined regular season MVPs and Super Bowl rings. So Mahomes with 8. He might even be the MVP this year, and if he could also win the Super Bowl on top of that, would put him at 12 with a lot of football left his way. But the Houston Texans was an underdog story for them, as they were a wild card team, and they're now in the conference championship for the first time in franchise history. So we could have another rematch of the Chiefs-Eagles. We could have a Snowhawks-Chiefs matchup, and we did beat them on Monday Night Football earlier in the season. But of course, a dynasty the Chiefs are at this point, and they're always a threat. But we're hoping the Texans can break through and win their first conference championship in franchise history. But to round out this episode, we will take a look at the Eagles roster. Very much, for the most part, they have remained intact over the course of this franchise. Still Jalen Hurts here at 98 overall quarterback. Jalen Carter, one of the best defensive linemen in football. Devontae Smith, actually their top receiver now, as he has surpassed A.J. Brown. But A.J. Brown's still at 93 overall, but 31 years old. He's kind of, heading towards the end of his prime, if not already. He ended the season short of not even 900 receiving yards. They have one of the best cornerback tandems here in Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, definitely going to cause problems for us. And Saquon Barkley was the rushing champion last season, but ended under 1,000 this year. Jordan Mailata at left tackle. He's set to hit free agency. We're hoping we can bring him in on like a nice 1 or 2 year contract there to hold down our blind side. Landon Dickerson as well, left guard, as they make up a really good left tackle, left guard combination. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is still here with the Eagles. Dallas Goedert, Reed Blankenship. Now we'll just go out of position. We saw Hurts. And Hurts is actually on an expiring contract as well. We'll take a look at that. So I'm assuming at worst case scenario, the Eagles would franchise tag him. But there is a scenario where Jalen Hurts could hit the open market. Running back is Saquon Barkley. At receiver, they have Devontae Smith, who's now up to a superstar, along with A.J. Brown. And Calvin Presley has emerged as a really nice third receiver here in this receiving core. 6'4", 219, former first-round pick out of Alabama. 7 touchdowns this year, 6 the year before. And they even signed him to a 2-year contract extension, upping his salary by about 100%. And now Dallas Goedert, 33 years old, probably on his way out. And looking at the offensive line, we saw Mulatto, still one of the best left tackles in the game. Dickerson, one of the best left guards in the game. But a big weakness here at center. Brandon Manley, usually the starting center, but he will be out, so they're going to have to go to Chad Underwood, another rookie here out of Texas Tech. He was actually an undrafted free agent, so, no worries here, Chad. Just start at center in the NFC Championship game. Very inexperienced, but they still have Mekhi Becton holding it down there at right guard, and at right tackle they have Luke Myers. So on the right side of the offensive line, a little bit weaker, definitely a little bit weak there at center. So hopefully we can expose those spots. Going back to our regular season matchup against the Eagles, they had 8 sacks against us in that loss. They actually handed us our first loss of the season, and Jalen Carter was a big part of that. 95 overall there at D, and they still have Milton Williams. They signed him to a contract extension, and Steve Fisher actually led the team in sacks despite Jalen Carter being up there. They have Josh Sweat still. Steve Fisher, a breakout season, 9.5 sacks for the former first-round pick out of Stanford. He was 12th overall back in 2026. They have an 80 overall Deion Austin there at defensive tackle. Nolan Smith, more of a pass rusher there at outside linebacker. Zach Bond still manning the middle, and Josh Sweat. So 2 good pass rushers there at the outside linebacker spots, and 2 or 3 guys who can wreak havoc up on the defensive front as well, to go along with the best cornerback tandem maybe in the league between Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. 2 guys we were also hoping would hit free agency, but the Eagles were able to re-sign both, and they still have that safety tandem of Reed Blankenship and CJ Gardner-Johnson. So the window may be closing on this Eagles team. They still have most of their key players intact, but they did lose Cam Jurgens, starting center, also Jordan Davis this past year in free agency. Not sure if they're going to be able to re-sign Jordan Mulatto or even Jalen Hurts for that matter, and also, of course, Lane Johnson has retired at this point. So we'll go back to this matchup. I believe it was like week 8 or week 7, and it was week 7 here. We fell 27-17 for our first loss of the season. We entered this one at 6-0, our best start in franchise history, but the Eagles, their defense was just way too much for us in this game, as not much scoring there in the second half, but they did outscore us 10-3 and took this one by 10 points. Our offense just 207 total yards. We really struggled to get it going, and the Eagles had 375, but no turnovers on our part, but still not enough to get the win, as Jalen Hurts went 3 touchdown passes, 231 passing, and he completed 74%. And Lucas McDonald actually had a very good game, going 26 for 32, 81%, but he was sacked 8 times. And when you're sacked that much, you're not really going to have much to work with. But he still held in there strong and engineered a good game despite the loss. Saquon Barkley went for over 100, one of the few times he did that this season. McDonald also had a rushing touchdown in this game receiving. I remember Devontae Smith going ham on us, went 9 for 116, 2 touchdowns. Mark Andrews for us had 7 for 62, a touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr. 3 for 55, and Saquon Barkley 3 for 53. So from scrimmage, he had about 160 yards, I believe. Carlos Alvarez, one of his worst performances of the season. He went for over 100 in almost every single game this year. He was only 6 for 40 in this matchup. Zach Bond, 14 tackles, led the game. Caleb Patton had 2 TFLs along with DeJean, Milton Williams, Nolan Smith there for the Eagles. 1.5 sacks from Caleb Patton, Milton Williams, Nolan Smith, Jonathan Grenard. I remember Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell each had sacks on corner blitzes. Steve Fisher, he finished the year with 9.5, I believe, leading the team, and no interceptions in this game either. I thought we did have one. A pass deflection from Caleb Patton, Dale Gilmore, Jerry Sexton, Quay Walker, Blankenship, and D'Angelo Hargrave. But we did have a forced fumble here from Terrion Arnold, which we did recover, and Jake Bates only missed 1 field goal all year for the Eagles. He was 2 for 2 in this game. Will Reichert was 1 for 1, hit from 55, and we had a 58-yard kick return here from Dre Patton. He almost took that one to the house, but this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. A tremendous episode here as we were able to take down the Los Angeles Rams despite almost collapsing in the final moments. We hung on strong and got another playoff win, now 4-1 in postseason play in this franchise. And next time out, we're going to be playing again for the NFC Championship and again playing against the Philadelphia Eagles, but this time we'll be on home turf from Snowhawks Stadium, and hopefully we can match the results from last year. We actually did lose to the Eagles in the regular season last year, only to beat them when it really mattered with the conference championship on the line. But as always, everybody, it's been real, and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.